And welcome to another edition of Hockey Off the Turf. We are glad you're with us here as the month of August is winding down. The athletes, the coaches, everybody's going back to school with your host, Beanie Schleicher. I'm Matt Hatfield. Beanie, it's a fun time of year, and field hockey's underway right now.
Yes, it is. A lot of teams are scrimmaging. We were going to do the top 10 like we did last week, but we decided not to do it because there's no indicator because there's no games. So I think in 2 weeks we'll do the top 10. I think we'll have a better idea of who the top 10 are.
There you go. Then you'll get all the heat from everybody that doesn't like who's high, who's low.
I know.
But, well, we've got
I'm
somebody
looking forward
that's a no-brainer for number one because they're the defending state champs. They won it for the 5th time. Head coach in her 36th year of coaching. What a decorated career she's compiled here. Hall of Famer and at Norfolk Academy since the 1980s. We welcome in Coach Mary Werkheiser. Good to see you. How's your summer been?
Summer has been awesome. I've had a great summer. I've only been here in Virginia Beach for about 2 weeks. As soon as school was out, headed down to Hilton Head and then went out to Omaha, Nebraska and did the Tetons, Mount Rushmore. So it's been a good summer.
Nice.
That's always fun.
Hilton Head or Nebraska, which was better? Those are both bucket lists, right? Those are up there, right?
Yeah. Hilton Head was pretty good, but my golf game wasn't.
Oh,
So, it's all right, yeah.
Was it hot?
Oh, it was hot.
Yeah.
Very, very hot. Very hot.
Where in Nebraska?
Casey's in Omaha.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fun.
So then she had off, it was the All-Star break for where she works at. And then we got in a car and went west.
What does she do?
She works for the Kansas City Royals baseball team.
I thought you were saying
Runs the
Chiefs.
triple. No, if it was the Chiefs, I'd be there. But no, she works for the Storm Chasers.
how about that? And for those who don't know, the Kansas City Royals have some 757 flavor, if you will. Vinny Pasquantino, Old Dominion, Matt Qatar. So a little bit of a 757. How about that? It's pretty cool. And they're trying to get in the playoffs in that AL Central with Cleveland, who's got the best record as we record this today, and Minnesota and others. But for you, Coach, another state championship. Tell us how you basked in the glory, enjoying it. I know it was a nail-biting finish with collegiate in the final, but what a year you had. 23-0, number 2 in the country. You say goodbye to some seniors you'll miss, but you bring back some talented players that we'll talk about and actually talk with here on our program.
Yeah, we had, as you well said, we had some really talented kids leave and go on to college, and now we have a new crop of youngsters that have joined the squad. We have 3 8th graders that are joining the squad. That's a first. I've had maybe 1 or 2 8th graders in 35 years, but to have 3 in the same year is phenomenal. And then we have a good bunch of returners from last year. The 3 ladies to my left, stellar. So they're all Penn State commits, and I'm very excited for them to go to Penn State, but even more excited for them to have a good senior year with Norfolk Academy.
That's awesome.
We'll be talking with Joji Purdy, Cooper Cutchins, and Mia Clarkson in a bit. But Beanie, in all your years, Mary won't do this because she's too modest and humble. You've won state championships. You've gone up against Cox in the rivalry games. You've seen some of the best teams in the country come through here. Where does this Norfolk Academy team from last year stack up? Because it's got to be with some of the best, but the numbers it did in the competition as well.
Yeah, that's actually what I was going to ask her. I was going to talk to her about that because I know all the teams that I've coached, and like if I would have, they're all very different.
Yeah.
All the chemistry is very different. But what made last year's team special, and how different were they than the other 4 state championship teams?
Well, the 2018 team, we refer to it as the Dream Team, and that I never thought we would have a team as talented as that one. But last year's group was, because we had so many kids that were talented, and we had depth coming in off the bench, and a good group of youngsters that wanted to jump in and learn from the old timers and all. And the leadership we had, I always say senior leadership is key for a successful season.
Right.
And we had 5 seniors go on to play at college, and we only had 7 on the team, right? Was it 7 seniors?
7 total. Okay. I look back at the teams I coached, and like one team in particular was like, we call the Dream Team, was my 2012 team. We went 24 or whatever now, I can't remember. And Haley was a freshman on that team, or they call them the Fab Five, I can't remember, something stupid. But then we won in 2015, that probably was my least talented team. But like you said, the leadership was there.
Yeah.
But they're all kind of like differently special.
Right. Very, very different.
Yeah. Tell us about some of your top players.
Top players. Well, to say we have 3 Penn State commits, that's awesome, especially from this area. But we have 3 talented players going on to play, and our leadership at the forward line is Joji Purdy. who likes to put the ball in the back of the net. And then in our midfield section is Cooper Cutchins, who doesn't like the other team to get past her. And then they get by occasionally. And then we have Mia Clarkson in the goal cage. And this is her 5th year of being with the varsity. So she's got to experience 2 of the state championships firsthand.
That's awesome.
When you win 5 state championships, and you've had 4 going into last year, and you get ranked at one point in the season #1 in the nation, and you have the expectation of redeeming yourselves. We spoke about this with some of your players like Joji and Lizzie Adams, who last year went off to Columbia, and some others on the team, Brooke Betancourt went to Wake Forest. You would feel like there might be a pressure, but watching your team play and you operate your coaches as well, because in being this, it's not just you as the head coach, it's also your whole staff.
Right.
There didn't seem to be any pressure. It was the enjoyment. How much is that, as you speak to other younger coaches getting this, fans out there, is that a big piece? Because, you know, we all get in sports caught up in the moment,
Right.
but you also want to enjoy the ride, don't you?
Oh, for sure. It's one game at a time, and we try. For me, I'm doing this as long as I'm doing it, we're having fun. And if you're not having fun, why do it? But like today, our practice, basically, we were playing a game called the Newlywed Game. So we matched somebody that's been on the squad with somebody brand new to the squad, and it was a little team bonding project. So to me, those are the instances that create for the cohesiveness.
Newlywed Game, you never did that at FC, did you? Okay.
I'm not as creative as Mary. I never thought to do that. The only fun thing we did was dress up at Halloween.
Halloween, really? What was your costume go to?
Reagan Bonnewell dressed up as me every year.
Oh,
it was
God.
so funny. Her and, do you remember Sammy Farrow? Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah, them two used to dress up as me every year. It was kind of funny. They come out in a black shirt, blue shorts, and my green board.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, I didn't dress up. Oh, you know, one year I dressed up with one of my former players. What were we? That's how memorable it was. I have no idea. I can't remember.
Wow.
Yeah.
But not every day is all fun.
Sure.
Because earlier in the week, I tortured them with some running tests and bead tests and things.
There's a time to be serious, and there's
Yes.
a time to let
Exactly.
it hair down a little bit. And I think that's what, watching them play, and I was blown away by this. I saw them a couple different times in your game with Cox and some others. Being that's the thing that struck me, and you've probably seen this with teams that you've coached, other championship level teams that you've watched over the years, that there's just a different level of, it's not so much an on-off switch, but the intensity when it goes to another level, other teams just can't meet that.
Right. Well, I officiated a couple of the games last year, and I went to a couple of them. I thought the difference in that team was, and granted, I obviously, when I was coaching, didn't see you play, but I felt like even when you were playing the teams that you're better than everybody, obviously. They always seemed at a high level, no matter what the score was, which I thought was, it's very hard to do. I feel like a lot of times it's hard to play at a high level when the score is 6-0, 7-0.
Yes.
And then you're subbing a lot, and a lot of your top players may have to come out,
Yeah.
which is tough too, because you guys want to play the entire time.
Right.
But I felt like you guys were always in your top gear,
Yeah.
every game.
And there was a couple times where we scored maybe 8 goals in the first period, which meant for 3 periods, and I would often send subs in and say, sorry, you can't score.
That's tough.
And they would pass the ball around and still get the corners, and we do shots and practice and all that, but yeah, we always try to maintain that high level.
Yeah. And it was always very, very hard when players go into, and you guys go into a game knowing most of the time what the score is going to be. This year's team compared to last year's team, how is it different?
We had a lot of freshmen last year, and their role was primarily to learn and take what they can from the returners. And now this time, they're expected to be the impact players and to be the performers on the field. So they're stepping into new roles. Our outsides pretty much are all new players. And I would say when we scrimmaged Camden Catholic on Wednesday, it was scary. We saw that the coaches got together and we have a lot of work to do. We made some switches on Thursday morning's practice and went through the motions as far as how to play and positioning and all that. And then when we played Camden Catholic Thursday afternoon, it was a much better game, very different. So they're coming along, and they're catching up to these ladies.
Did you change a lot of positions after the first game?
The backfield a little bit, so, but not, the midfield is solid. We're trying to find our forward line.
So Mia got more shots on goal than she typically gets?
Probably, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, she got some good practice.
Awesome. We'll come back with more with Coach Mary Werkheiser, as well as through the standouts. We got Mia Clarkson, Cooper Cutchins, Joji Purdy, all headed to Penn State University for the next level. It's coming your way right here with Beanie Schleicher. I'm Matt Hatfield. You're watching Hockey Off the Turf right here, exclusively on Cova Sports TV. Be back in a bit.
At CHKD, sports medicine is more than just treating injuries. It's a whole team approach to caring for young athletes. With experienced physicians, surgeons, trainers, and rehab specialists here when kids and teens need them most. Our experts help young athletes prevent injuries too, with advanced training and conditioning programs that keep them in the game safely. CHKD Sports Medicine, where kids are more than patients and we're more than a hospital.
Treat yourself to a visit to the Drip Bar IV Hydration and Vitamin Therapy in Virginia Beach. Boost your immunity, increase your energy, and promote anti-aging with our personalized treatments designed to ensure efficient nutrition absorption to rejuvenate your mind and body. Come see our chic and relaxing day spa for yourself today. We welcome walk-ins and appointments. Our medical professionals will help you achieve your best health and answer all your questions. The Drip Bar at Lansdowne Commons in Virginia Beach.
I grew up here. I know this town. I know the people here. More important, they know me. As a banker at Town Bank, we become part of the communities we serve. The people who bank with us, our members, know us. When you bank with Town Bank, you'll know your banker. You'll know you can reach us, and you'll know we're here for you.
After more than 50 years of innovation, AstroTurf still leads the way. The inventor of artificial turf does it all, right here in the USA. We engineer, test, manufacture, and install the world's most innovative fibers and turf technologies, with over 30,000 tracks and fields worldwide. AstroTurf, powered by Sport Group.
And welcome back to Hockey Off the Turf here on Cova Sports TV with Beanie Schleicher. I am Matt Hatfield. We got back with us Coach Mary Werkheiser of the defending five-time state champion Norfolk Academy Bulldogs, and three of the standouts all headed to Penn State and the Nittany Lions. We've got Joji Purdy, 50 goals, 13 assists a season ago, all Tidewater All-State. And two other standouts, Cooper Cutchins, Mia Clarkson, the goalkeeper, getting all those shutouts. Beanie, this is a terrific trio to lead the way for the areas, and dare we say, again, state's best team.
Yeah, I think it's very unusual to have three girls from the area, let alone the exact same school, going to Penn State. How was that process for you guys? Like, did y'all get together and say, hey, let's all go to Penn State?
Who was first? Who committed first to Penn State?
It was me.
It was you? Okay, Joji.
When'd you commit?
I think I committed, like, maybe either the end of August or beginning of September.
Okay.
I don't exactly remember.
And then who?
Me. I committed in September.
What month we in now? So last year? Okay.
And then I was February.
Interesting. So is it going to be weird spending another 4 years together? Are y'all close?
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty close. We're definitely, none of us are going to room together.
No,
but,
that's smart.
But I think it'll be good.
Was Penn State always like your number one choice, or?
It was like always up there for me, but it wasn't exactly my number one, like when I went into the recruiting process.
Okay, so what sold Penn State for you?
Well, when I went up there for my visit and like I really saw the campus and like I saw how the coaches interacted with like the players and everything, and like I just realized that it was like something that I would want to be a part of, and like I could really see myself being there for like 4 years, even like taking field hockey out of the equation. So.
Oh, good. What about you?
Kind of the same thing. It was my top school going into it, so when I was visiting, I was, I guess, excited to see it, and I was interested. I really liked how their field hockey program like worked along with the school aspect of it.
We did a team camp there, maybe in 2018. I thought the school was really pretty.
It is gorgeous.
Yeah. What about you, Mia?
I always knew I wanted to go to a bigger school. They were up in my radar and like the top in the beginning and everything. And it was also just like once I went there and I saw the campus, I was like, I really like it, and the business program there is really good, and that's what I want to major in. So that was a big deciding factor for me.
I think football will be a deciding factor for me. Football team?
Listen, not a bad Saturday night when they, packed the place out against Michigan. Yeah, the whiteout, no doubt. Whited out against Michigan or Ohio State, not too bad. Now, for any of you, Joe G, Cooper, Mia, last year's team, you're 22-0. You get to the championship game against the team that beat you the season before in collegiate. And you had a little bit of a hard-fought game. You knew you were going to get their best shot. You win it. I think it was 4-3 was the final. Take me through once the game is over and that feeling is complete and you finish up the season number 2 in America, what it was like to be one of the best teams to ever come out of the 7-5-7 and certainly in school history.
I mean, it was just pretty cool, and it was especially like we've been playing with like all the girls that like graduated since we were really little on like the same club team. So it was just really cool like to be playing with them for so many years, and like for us to all like be like at the top like together and be able to enjoy that together. And it was a little bittersweet because we knew they were leaving. So, but I mean, it was just like amazing feeling.
You say goodbye to that great group of seniors with Brooke and Lizzie and others. How about you, Cooper? Was that the moment that stuck out about the season? Was there maybe another game moment, something away from the competition that sticks out about the 2023 year?
I think the Max Field Hockey tournament was what really stood out for us, because that was our first tournament where we like really got the or not necessarily the competition, but we all got put into situations that we hadn't been put in yet in the season. So going into overtime against Villa Marie and then beating them was exciting, and then playing Kincaid School, which at the time was top ranked, and beating them by a significant amount was really exciting, and that was when we really started working as a team, which was really rewarding.
Awesome. And me, I interviewed Joe G and Lizzie last year about this. You're winning by these wide margins. When you're back there as the keeper, and you told me this with Beanie a little earlier off camera about how many shutouts or how many got to 20. Is there any pressure, or is it like I'm just back here chilling, enjoying, watching what's going on in front of me, not having to deal with all this traffic and action?
It's different than what most goalies go through kind of through their high school career. I'm just watching, and it comes to a point in the game where I'm counting the passes, trying to see how many they get in the game, and just making sure I'm still communicating, especially when the younger girls come in. But then it's different though, because I won't be getting any action for probably about 3 weeks maybe in a row, and then it will be like the collegiate game that we played for homecoming that year, and then it was like, okay, you're getting all the action now, all the shots, so it's just a big change up and everything.
Coach Working, I'm sure, Beanie, you touched on this too because you've coached some championship teams. When you see the athletes do what they do, it's impressive. But then when you hear how well-spoken each of them are, the communication and just the knowledge they have, it also makes you sit back and go, not too much for me to be worried about, huh?
No, not at all. I can sit back, and I've actually the last few years I've been enjoying sitting down and coaching. So I used to be a stand-up coach, but not anymore. But they're so well prepared. They know what to expect.
Yeah, the best for her is probably practices.
Yes.
And she gets the shots
Yes.
and goal. I used to always be concerned about that though, because Kimmy Jones, for example, just stand back there, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh no, I didn't know. Do you panic at all when that starts to happen?
When they start,
You haven't had a shot on goal in 8 games, and then you're playing collegiate.
a little bit. There's a little bit of that coming at me, yes. So that's especially even in those slow games.
Yeah.
Once I see them break
past
through
Cooper.
us, kind of. Yeah, or something with their defense, and I'm like, oh my god, there's something. And then I gotta re-wake up everything.
Right.
But definitely once it comes to those hard games. But even before that, I'm aware of what's about to go down in these games, and so it's not as shocking, but it's still a little bit of me. I'm like, okay, this is not one of those usual games that we have here.
Do you feel like you're a really good communicator back there?
Yes, definitely. I would
That's
have to
key.
say
I
that's
was
one of
gonna
my
say.
strong suits.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good.
Well, we heard Coach Workey bring up earlier about the newlywed game. Tell us a bit about that. Some of the things that you all do to stay in the moment, but also stay loose, because it feels like that chemistry is a big deal. It's one thing for you all to be talented or know how good you are. You're going to the next level to play at Penn State. You've got some other teammates that will play collegiate, but there's also got to be a inside of you like, all right, we know how to get to the serious mode, but also relax and have some fun with this.
Yeah, I mean, I think, especially on, like, our team, I think we, like, joke around a lot. We make sure, like, you know, everyone's having fun. Like, obviously, when like, we realize that things need to be serious, like, we'll tell, like, the team, like, hey, come on, like, we're not really joking around anymore. But, I mean, like, once we get off the field, like, before practices and stuff, like, we're always listening to music in the locker room. Like, everyone's laughing and having fun. And I think we just, like, do a really good job. Like, we have a team sleepover at the beginning of every year. Ours is in, like, 2 days, where it's just, like, we get everyone together. Like, everyone mixes up in different rooms. And, like, we just make sure that we're all, like, really bonded, because it is, like, tough to get them focused in serious moments if they're not, like, willing to, like, actually, like, participate and listen, so.
Beanie, I think their walkout music was Cotton Eye Joe, if I heard it right. Is that right? Was that right or
It's
not wrong?
one of the many.
One of the
We do,
many,
like,
okay.
We have a lot of traditions
Okay.
on the NA field hockey team. It's a lot to keep up with, definitely. But we have, like, Cotton Eye Joe, and then we walk out with, like, our pinkies and everything, and then we go out to the field. Everyone has to be silent. We're walking out in the 300, I think, violin.
It's like 300
violin orchestra plays.
Oh, okay.
What
And,
are
like,
pinkies?
it's like Cooper's my pinky, and we walk out and we hold like pinkies
Okay.
like that, and then like that plays, and once you get to the sideline, then you like scream and everything.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How will, like your role last year, obviously you guys were still very good players last year. This year, how do you think your role is going to change as being the best players on the team, essentially, and captains?
I mean, it's definitely a little bit more stressful because, like, last year, since we weren't captains, but, like, we were still, like, starters and, like, playing, like, most of the games, there was definitely a little bit less pressure, but now I feel like, especially with a lot of the younger people, they're, like, really, like, looking at us on the field and stuff. So it adds a little bit, but, I mean, I think that if we just, like, keep playing, like, how we were playing last year, like, we don't think that there's, like, too much pressure on us, or, oh, everyone's watching, or if I make a mistake, like, you know, I like, that's it for the game. But so I think if we just focus on that, then it'll help a little bit. But
Cooper, who do you think your biggest competition will be?
I think our biggest competition. Biggest competition this year is going to be Trinity.
Okay.
Or in our state conference.
Right, that's
But
what I meant.
obviously the next
Right.
hockey tournament.
How is it, first of all, for you, are you the only goalie this year?
Yes, I am.
Is it lonely? I mean, seriously, I always worry about that.
It's definitely a little bit lonely,
But
especially like during preseason. It would be like, okay, you're in cage now for all the things, and like I used to have Mac back there, and like we could talk about our day. We would like gossip. We'd be like, oh, I just ordered my homecoming dress,
Yeah.
and like we would just talk to each other about random stuff like that. But it's definitely like a little lonely now, and I'll like turn around and I'm like, oh, there's someone to swap out with now. Good, keep on going with the drill now.
Having 8th graders on the team, I think it's even hard with ninth graders and seniors. Like, you guys are 17 or 18?
18.
Okay.
16.
Oh.
Yeah, that was how Haley was. And then the 8th graders are 14. I mean, some are 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big, but so I guess you guys are 8th graders with seniors. Yes?
Like, kind of, yeah.
So do you think it's a big age gap? Is it hurt? Is it harmful?
I mean,
How do you include them? I mean,
I think that like today's game when we team bonding like really helped us, but since the start, the 8th graders are pretty outgoing
yeah.
Oh,
on
that
our team
helps.
at the moment.
Yeah.
So
I think it truly depends on like the type of 8th grader it is. Like the 3 that we have this year, like they're very outgoing, talkative. Like they have an older sister on the team too, 2 of them. So like they're calling her out, and like they fit in with all of us because they're used to having older people around them. So that definitely helps.
Right.
But it's just like we're used to also in our school being with the middle school and like lower school and always doing things together.
Mhm.
So we're used to like, oh, you have a younger person, like you're gonna like have to like treat them like yourself, but also like modify it to where it's like they are younger than you,
Right.
and everything. And like they're usually more mature, and it's definitely like helps them mature into like becoming better.
Right. So are we going to repeat?
Of course.
that's the goal.
Undefeated?
That's also the goal.
Yeah, that would be nice.
So the whole season, I know you guys are going to Max Prep, and you already told me who you're playing, but I already forgot. Who in season will be tough games for you guys? In your conference and out of conference?
Definitely like Trinity Collegiate will be two of our like toughest games for our like state conference. I think FC is like our first real game, I think, so that should be like a pretty decent game, and then Max Fidaki should be pretty tough. So, but I think do we play Max Fidaki before we play Trinity?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
When is Max Prep?
21st, that weekend, September.
Oh,
September.
it was a while away. But you got Assumption
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Also
so
be a tough game.
we played them.
on the 6th.
yeah.
They're a national level team, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
We're good.
My last one for each of you, and we thank you for coming in, and Beanie can finish up with maybe one or two more as well. I'm curious because I think it was you, Lizzie, when I interviewed you and Brooke last year. That was my favorite moment from the podcast as far as interviewing players and coaches when they asked about Coach Werkheiser, and you said she's the GOAT. It's not LeBron or Michael Jordan. It's Coach Werkie over here is the GOAT. For each of you, kind of chime in what makes her such a unique coach to play for. And I know you play with other coaches club, all that thing, but she's certainly one of the best that's done it here in Virginia.
I mean, like, she's been coaching us for so long. Like, she got me into field hockey to begin with. But I think, like, she really just, like, acts like a mother, like, to all of us on the team. So it just makes it really easy. Like, you can talk to her about anything. We laugh with her. We joke with her. And it just helps, like, the team, like, bond, too. Because, like, the younger people see us, like, joking with her. So they're not, like, you know, scared to go up and talk to her or anything. So that's definitely, like, one of my favorite things.
There you go. How about you, Cooper?
I agree with like the mother thing. Like she's tough on us like in practice, and we all take it very seriously, and we know not to mess around during practice. But when we're outside of practice, like sometimes we'll go see her in her office and go hang out with her, and she comes and supports us when we're playing sports, not field hockey, obviously.
Me?
I think like with field hockey, she's always been like the mother figure also, but it's also like at a young age because I had an older sister who played for her, and I always was very against playing field hockey when I was younger.
So you knew what you would get into with older sister having played.
Yes,
All right.
yes, and so I would always joke around with Ricky like I'm not playing this sport, and so it was definitely like when I got into it, just like she would always make fun of me for it, and so just like being able to do that with your coach definitely helps bond you, and then also there's a time to take it seriously and not to.
Yeah. My last question is, what other sports do y'all play?
I play softball too for NA.
Do you? What position?
I'm the pitcher.
I can see the catcher.
No.
The goalie. Okay.
I do not catch.
Awesome. What about you?
I play basketball and lacrosse.
Do you like lacrosse?
I do like lacrosse.
Yeah.
I do lacrosse.
Do you do club in any other sports? Probably not.
No.
Yeah. It's too hard to do.
Yeah.
Multi-sport talents from Norfolk Academy. Mia Clarkson, Cooper Cutchins, Joji Purdy, all headed to Penn State, and the coach, the HOF, the GOAT, Mary Werkheiser. Thank you all for stopping in, and we look forward to it. Don't roll your eyes. You're the GOAT. That's what they said. You've been dubbed the GOAT. You're the GOAT. It's not Jordan. It's not LeBron. We've solved the argument, folks, and that'll wrap it up here for Hockey Off the Turf with our GOAT with the Field Hockey Podcast this year, Beanie Schleicher. Looking forward to it and counting down that top 10, and we'll see how many darts get thrown at you for it. Not too many.
I'm not doing it by myself. Mary's going to help me.
There you go. You got some assists. There you go. That's going to wrap it up. We thank you all. Make sure you hit that like button, the share button, and subscribe right here on your home for everything sports locally, statewide, and beyond. Cova Sports TV. Take care.